Hi, my name is Jonathan Hicks, and this evening I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Chris.
Mark.
Steve. And we've just finished playing Hail Hydra, which is a sort of superhero-themed social deduction game, essentially. We are S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, supposedly. You have this little loyalty token, which you can see, shows that I'm a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, except that a couple of us are Hydra agents, really. And what we're trying to do is defeat a series of bad guys. You kind of work your way through a pile of these until eventually you get to a big boss that you're trying to fight. But as you fight them, potentially you can see they're going to do damage to the city. This track in the middle tracks the damage to the city. You kind of move this down. And if the damage gets all the way down to 0, then the Hydra agents win and the good guys lose. So each round you have a hand of cards, and the cards basically have either pluses or minuses on. And everyone collectively kind of agrees to put a certain number of cards in. So each person can put 1 to 3 cards in. Now, because I'm a good guy, I want to put good cards in, but if you look at my hand, it's terrible. I've only got 1 good card. So you put it face down, so I say, I'm going to put in 1 good card, and you can say what kind of card you're putting in, although obviously you could be lying. And then Chris looks at his hand, and he says...
I'm going to put in 2 good cards.
Okay.
There we go, 2 good cards there.
Let's do 2 good cards.
Okay, Mark does 2 good cards.
I've only got 1 good card left.
Okay, super splendid. Then you take all the cards everyone's put in, you shuffle them, so you don't know which cards came from which person, and then you reveal them when we get to see. Was everyone telling the truth? Oh, hang on, that's a negative. Everyone said they were in good cards. Oh my goodness, that's a really big negative. We've definitely got some Hydra agents here. Now, Steve only put 1 card in, didn't it? So that means there was a lot of red cards. So who put the most red cards in? And you kind of discuss it at this point. Chris,
Pretty sure it was him. Yeah.
Chris put a lot of red cards in.
I put some good cards in.
So we kind of debate who's done what, but then effectively you add up the total. So in this case, we've got 8 positives and, oh my goodness, minus 11. Now, in order to defeat Kingpin, we would have to have a total of 9. If you do any damage, you kind of take damage tokens, put them on, so you can basically track damage from round to round. But obviously in this case we didn't manage to do any damage at all because we had a negative score. So then you kind of clear those away. Everyone gets to draw a card, except one person, the kind of first player each round, has to discard their entire hand of cards and then draws a fresh hand of cards. So if, for instance, like me, you end up with a big pile of junk here, then when it gets round to you, when you're the first player, you can get rid of it all and get a fresh set of cards. And there's a roughly sort of 50-50 split here, you see, between positives and negatives, although just because of the luck of the draw, you can end up with quite a few bad ones. Although if you're a Hydra agent, obviously, that's good. You want to have all the bad ones, and you kind of say, oh, I've got nothing but bad cards. I'm really sorry, I'm going to have to put a bad card in. Anyway, so you go around, as I say, we keep putting tokens in. Every time you get enough damage, you kind of clear off this boss, and you move on to the next one. And either you defeat the final boss, or the damage on the city gets down to 0. Obviously, if you defeat the final boss, goodies win. Otherwise, if the city is destroyed, the baddies win. What do we think?
I really liked it. It felt a lot like Resistance crossed with Secret Hitler, a lot of good bits and pieces in there. And in particular, I just love the way that each of the characters, I mean, I love the theme anyway, they're a sucker for this, but they've all got an individual power that they can use once per game that can really swing things. And that was great. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
Mark?
Yeah, I think it does a very good job of distilling this sort of style of game. The more, like the long term, you know you're a bad guy, good guy from the start, and you continue throughout the entire game. The numbered card play does remind me a lot of BSG. I think it does it better than Dark Moon. I think Dark Moon can be a little bit too random. Well, this just seems to be a bit smoother, and because it manages to do a lot of that in under an hour, it works really well. Plus, there's lots of different bad guys, so there's a lot of variation, and yeah, it's very solid for what it does.
Steve?
Not a fan of BSG because it's too long, so I like Dark Moon for its speed, and this I think is better. I'm with Mark, it does better. There's one thing it doesn't do as well, and I think you have to be you have to play better to be a bad guy in this game. In Dark Moon, you distrust everyone because they roll dice, and they might have only rolled negatives here. Well, here, if I've got a handful of negatives and I'm a good guy, I'll tell people, guys, you need to vote me out of this mission because I've got a handful of negatives. So it's a bit easy to be a good guy, which means conversely to be a bad guy you need that bit of extra. It's much harder to kind of mitigate the badness on just random luck. Here you've got to actually tactically do it. We were doing really well as a bad guy, and then I drew a hand of positives. I tried to out myself. I outed myself. I stopped them completing a mission. Then I drew a hand of positives. My co-conspirator thought I would substitute a negative in and didn't want to out himself, so he put a positive in, and we killed a guy we wanted to keep alive. We killed one of the bad guys. So you've got to be careful, but you do get that kind of look at the draw as well. And thematically, potentially one of the best themings of this sort of game.
Rating?
Generally not my favourite sort of social deduction game, but it's pretty good, so I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay.
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, I like deduction. Gets about an 8.5 from me.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice. Each time you defeat one of the bad guys, you get a vote. So you kind of discuss, oh, I think he's dodgy or she's dodgy, whatever, and you can vote somebody off so that they're not entering cards for the next round. So that's quite nice. But obviously, then after that, they can potentially come back in. You have another vote. And also with the bad guys, have got special abilities as well, which can really mess with you. So some kind of add negative cards. So even if everybody contributing was putting in good cards, there might still be negative cards. So it can be hard to figure out who's who. I think, as I said, it's very good for the kind of game it is. I'd be on a 7.5. All right, thanks for watching. That was Hail Hydra.